Hey guys, what's up? Cardfight here, and today I'm here with the machining deck profile. With the set of Infant Rebirth, Megacolony's finally got some much needed support, and we got the machining archetype now, so we can build a machining deck. But of course, there are a lot of things that this deck is missing, including some triggers and yeah, mostly the triggers and the starter. It's honestly not that great. So yeah, this is just my take on the Megacolony deck. So let's get right into it. So for the starting Vanguard, I run Machining Colony, Megacolony Battler C, and he's not a machining unit, but it's fine because he's just a starting Vanguard, and he's pretty decent. When this card boosts and hit a when this card boosts and hit, it's not focusing. You can pay the cost, put this card into soul, kind of +1, and you can stun one of your opponent's rear guards, so they can't stand next turn. And yeah, he's pretty good because this deck does run a lot of non-machining units because there just isn't, including some triggers and stuff. So I'll run this to, in case that happens, you can just burn out some of your non-machining counterblast. Also, this starting Vanguard is not very good with the rest of the deck, since he kind of only works with Stag Beetle, and I don't run any Stag Beetles in this deck. So I don't run this. I run this instead. Alright, so next I run 4 of the Hercules. I think I don't remember what his name is. He is the card you ride into after you break ride. Of course, what you mainly want to do is break ride into break ride into break ride, because then you can keep stunning your units. But for now, I run 4 of these. You can actually take one of these out for a Stag Beetle. Yeah. So skill is Counterblast 2 machining units, and when this card attacks, you can counterblast, pay the cost, and then you can stun one of your opponent's units, and then this card gets plus 10k and plus one critical. So it's actually pretty good, but it does require machining counterblast, and sometimes this deck does get stuck on that. Next is skill is Soul Blast 1. If your opponent has a rested rear guard, this card gets plus 2k, so we can help hit cross rides, which is also nice. Next, I run 4 Break Rides. He is basically the main card of the deck. He is very good. When a Megacolony unit rides on top of this unit, you can rest all your opponent's units, and your opponent cannot basically misses their stand phase. So what this means is they can't even stand their Vanguard, but they can ride. So after they ride, their Vanguard will stand up, so their Vanguard will still be able to attack. But if they don't have a grade 3, they're pretty much screwed, which is why this card is good. Also, the new machining unit from Player's Collection is also very, very good. I'm probably going to take those out, take at least 3 of these out for that new card. So, yeah. Next skill is when this card attacks and your opponent has a rested unit, this card gets plus 2k. So basically, he always gets the plus 2k because your opponent's probably not going to have a non-rested unit. So yeah, the main problem with this card is it's not a machining unit, so that could cause some troubles when you damage check it, and it also isn't that great because of the 12k attackers in this deck. Yeah. Right, next for the grade 2s, I run 4 of the new machining unit. When this card attack hits a Vanguard and you have a Megacolony Vanguard, you can pay the cost, counterblast 1 machining unit, and one of your opponents, choose one of your opponent's units and they cannot stand. So you can stun one of your opponent's rear guards when this card hits for cheap counterblast 1, which is good, but there's an even better card in this deck. And that's the grade 1 version of this card, but I'll show you that later. Next, I run 4 12k attackers. You can actually cut this down to 3 and run 1 more of the next card I'm running, because if you're stuck with this guy would just be a 9k vanilla. But I haven't had too much trouble. Just rush your opponent down early game, and yeah, not too big of a problem. Next, I run 3 of these. When this card is called to Vanguard or Rearguard Circle and you have a machining unit in your soul, this card gets plus 3k for that turn. So basically it's a temporary 12k attacker, but his skill does pop off on the Vanguard Circle too, so that's pretty nice. You can swing for 12k on your grade 2 phase. So yeah, even under opponent's 12k Vanguard, 10k Vanguard, and you hit with this, you can still pop it off if you really want to. Next, I run 3 of this card. This card's pretty amazing. When this card boosts a machining unit and hits your Vanguard, opponent's Vanguard, you can choose one of your opponent's units and they cannot stand the next stand phase. So basically it's the free version of this, except this card has to boost the machining unit, which is why it doesn't combo too well with the Break Ride, but it's fine. Use it for early game pressure. It's really good. You save a lot of hand cards this way. Also, him with the 12k attackers, you can still form an 18k column, so you can still hit cross rides properly. So it's quite alright. It's quite a good card. Next, I run 3 of these. These are also from the Extra Booster 1. It's the grade 1 version of this when this card's called in the Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, and you have a machining unit in your soul. This card gets plus 3k, so he becomes a 10k booster for 1 turn, which is quite nice. So I run 3 of those. Next, I run 2 of the hand swappers. Sometimes when your hand gets stuck with too many of these or these, because they do eat up quite a lot of counterblasts. Machining counterblast, I mean. Yeah. You can just swap them out with this. It's basically the grade 1 version of Caster. The Megacolony version of Caster. When your opponent has a rested unit, when this card is called, you can discard a card to draw a card. So yeah, it's pretty good. Like, cards that require your opponent to have a rested unit is pretty much not a cost, because they'll almost always have a rested unit unless something happened. And yeah. Next, I run 2 of the 10k attackers for machinings. Pretty self-explanatory. So yeah. I guess I know why they didn't make this into a machining unit. It's because if this was a machining unit, this deck would be a little too good. So yeah. Next, I run 1 Quintet Wall, simply because it does not require machining counterblast. So if you do get stuck with non-machining counterblast, you can just pop this off and hope you get enough guard to guard against attacks. Because Quintet Walls they're inconsistent, but they're cheap. I'll make a video comparing Quintet Walls versus Perfect Guards later. So yeah. Anyway, next 3 Perfect Guards. For triggers, I run 6 crit, because this is not a machining crit, so I decided to run 2 stands over it, 2 machining stands. These do catch my opponent off guard, so yeah, it's pretty nice. Also, in mirror matches, it's pretty funny when you pop a stand off their leg, because they expect to be able to guard all your only need to guard your Vanguard, and then suddenly you stand, or you intercept off your units and then have weak attacks, and then you stand a booster, and then your opponent's just like, what? So yeah, I run 2 stands, 6 crit. Next, I run 4 draws. These are not machining, which is another problem. I hope they get some machining stands. I mean, machining draw triggers soon. They might have. Actually, I'm not sure if they actually came. Actually, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think they have machining draws. So, yeah, because in this set they only came with crits, stands, and heals. So, yeah. So I'm running 4 machining heals because, you know, why not run machining heals? You should run machinings if you can. So I do. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this deck profile. There's not much else to say. This deck's really fun to do, so pretty fun to play. So yeah, this is Kotaku, and I'll see you guys pretty soon, I guess. Bye!